Super Bowl 57 is in the books. Yet again, the Chiefs are the champions of the National Football League. Welcome to the Purple Auto Podcast. What's up, guys? Y'all went to the parade today?
What's going on?
No.
Y'all ain't go to the parade, huh? Y'all ain't
No,
want
I
to go
didn't
out
feel
there.
like flying to Kansas City.
You ain't want to celebrate with Mahomes and Kelsey. You know it was a party out there.
Oh, you know they were probably talking about the rocker before they even got there.
I don't think anybody can top the Tom Brady Gronk Super Bowl parade in my recent,
Well, that's because they have something Lombardi in the river.
Yes, I haven't seen any of the highlights from today, but I'm sure it was nothing like, it's gonna be hard to top that. So I didn't go either, just to be clear. All right, everyone. But on a lighter note, we'd like to send our thoughts and prayers to the Michigan State University community, where 3 people died and several others were injured when a gunman opened fire earlier this week.
Absolute cowardice act. And then he turned around and turned the gun on himself. He didn't even have enough balls to take credit for what he did.
Definitely. Turning our attention to the game, Chiefs won 38-35 over the Eagles. Kansas City overcame a 10-point halftime deficit. How did the AFC's top seed get it done, Kevin?
Defense and a young man by the name of Patrick Mahomes with 1 foot. I mean, it's basically. I mean, they executed. They were able to rely both on their pass and their run. I mean, Patrick went 21 for 27 for 182 yards and 3 touchdowns. I mean, they ran. And then the rushing. It was basically they, and plus turnovers. They capitalized on turnovers when they needed, and questionable holding call. But I mean, it's crazy how a 1-footed Patrick Mahomes can do something like that. And they had a scare because it looked like he was going to make it through that game. But
he was on 2 legs until that injury. Well, that roll up.
Yeah, I know.
Everybody thought it was going to be an issue, but I mean, I've got enough respect for him now where I'm like, this guy damn near can do anything. And I thought after 14 days of rest or whatever, he was going to be fine, but which he showed it. So
I mean, he showed that with heart and great determination, you can come back from any injury early. Lamar. But anyway, I digress. And I mean, Jalen Hurts, he didn't do too bad himself. I mean, the young man went 27 for 38 for 304 yards and a touchdown. Sure. Yeah, I mean, they got their rushing game going. Just a battle. I honestly think it came down to the turnovers in this one. How about you, Durp? What do you got?
It was a really good game. I think the two, sometimes you watch a Super Bowl and it kind of seems like, one of these teams maybe shouldn't be here or whatever. Both teams deserve to be there. Both the right teams made it. I think that a lot of people are really quick to jump on this James Bradbury shit, and it's like, even he himself said that he grabbed a handful of jersey or whatever. I don't think it personally should have been called in that moment, but it is what it is. I think this came down to 2 things really for me. I think it was more of a Eagles collapse and a Chiefs taking advantage of it. That fumble by Jalen Hurts, Nick Bolton picked it up, took it to the house. That changed the whole dynamic of the game. At the party that I was at, they went in the halftime up by 10, and one of the guys that was there, he was like, the Chiefs are going to come back in this game. And like Brandon said, I got so much respect for this team and Patrick Mahomes. I didn't even, think twice. I'm like, a double-digit lead over Patrick Mahomes at halftime? Oh, and Andy Reid? Okay. So then they came down, and it was like the Eagles weren't even there on that drive. I think Pat Mahomes on that first drive went like 4 for 4, and they just drove straight down. Yeah. They just drove straight down the field and scored a touchdown like it was nothing. And the Eagles played very well. This was one of the better Super Bowls in recent memory. But a lot goes out to the Chiefs and they're scouting and they're watching of tape, because I done heard a billion times now how they saw the Jags in week 4, all the way back in week 4, doing that motion on the Eagles safeties, and when you motion on the Eagles safeties, they'll change what they're supposed to do, or they'll try to talk during the play. So the touchdown by Sky Moore and the other one by Kadarius Toney, they were both, the nearest person to them was at the concession stands. So they obviously knew something. They knew what they were doing. Even Sky Moore said when he got down there that he knew once they called that play, he was going to score. So I think that this was just really good game planning by the Chiefs. And like I said, a collapse by the Eagles. I don't know if they were just not ready to handle the moment. The Chiefs had already been there or what. But overall, really good game.
Yeah, and going back to what Durp said real quick, the only doubt in my mind from possibly that the Chiefs weren't going to win was that opening drive by Philly. Once Kansas City came back and scored again, I knew that it was going to be their game. I picked Philly, of course, in our picks league, but on my other show, I did go with Kansas City. Of course, I ended up locking Kansas City, so kind of balanced myself out. But yeah, it wasn't like the previous Super Bowl with Kansas City where Tampa Bay was all over them in the first half. So, definitely what Durp was saying, y'all both were saying is right. It seemed like they had it in the bag, especially straight out of halftime when they came down, doing Kansas City things. That's why they always defer. It seems like, that's one of my recipes to success for Kansas City is like they always defer that kickoff to the second half. They're great with time management. They don't waste timeouts. They don't waste challenges. And it's, they like to double dip there at the first half into the second out of halftime and score twice, and not a field goal and a touchdown. They're not looking for. They're looking for both touchdowns. So, yeah.
And another thing, nothing. I was just going to say that, that Super Bowl you were talking about where the ones that the Chiefs lost, a lot of people fail to remember that the Chiefs had like 2 or 3 offensive linemen that were hurt in that game.
Correct.
Going into it. So that's why Pat Mahomes had no time. I would have never expected the Eagles to get 0 sacks in this game. That was amazing. But
yeah,
I feel like a lot of people forgot to realize that their O-line was very banged up. So that's why their defense, feasted on them like that back in that game.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll be honest with you. I questioned them deferring to the second half initially with just because of Mahomes, injury. I honestly thought that if they go down in this first half, they're not coming back. So I mean, I eat my words from that one, which I'm happy. I'm glad I did, because I was like, ugh. I even told my mother when we were watching the game, I said, they're going to defer. Chiefs go down and score. I mean, if Philly goes down and score, we're going to have it's going to be a dogfight.
Yeah.
And it was to the very end.
Definitely.
Or I think, if the Chiefs would have took the ball, went down and scored, I think it might have taken some wind out of the sails of the Eagles. So.
Yeah. Another big problem that teams have with the Chiefs is you don't ever know who they're going to go to.
No.
Like before, it was the Tyreek and Kelsey show. Now it's like 1 week MVS goes off, and the next week it's Kadarius Toney, and then all Sky Moore didn't score a touchdown his whole rookie season, comes in the Super Bowl, scores a touchdown. Jerick McKinnon comes on late, leads all receivers in receiving touchdowns. So this team is just too dynamic at times. It's almost unfair.
I mean, it's like you got Juju Smith-Schuster. I mean, he went 7 receptions for 53. Try Kelsey. It's like they always forgot to cover Kelsey. I mean, 6 for 81.
That's hard anyway. On it
again. Yeah. I was gonna say I feel that's the new modern day Brady and Gronk right there.
Yeah.
You can that what's that old saying? You can't stop them. You can just only hope to contain them.
Exactly.
That's that type of shit.
It's crazy.
So my question to you guys: do you think we have a dynasty brewing, a Patriots dynasty brewing in Kansas City?
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way you could say no.
Yeah.
I mean, they've even before Mahomes got there, they were dominating that division. Now they've won 10 straight. So it's like they're it's just like the Patriots back in the day. They're a lock to make the playoffs, and once they get in the playoffs, they're even more dangerous.
Yep.
Okay, now
And they go ahead, Kevin.
My second question is: do you think Patrick Mahomes has what it takes to throw Tom Brady as the GOAT?
Now, see,
No, I don't think anybody will be able to ever be able to do that.
I agree. I think he'll definitely. I give him maybe 5 championships, just because I used to hate Kansas City. Like, I despised everything since Patrick Mahomes been there. And then after that, that Super Bowl coming off, into the following season, I just like, it just stuck with me. Like, yeah, we stuck with these guys for a while. So, yeah, I have them definitely winning. He's got 2 now. And they're going to be able to attract even more playmakers now. Not that they need any, because they got young receivers. Yeah, I mean, honestly, the offensive line has been rebuilt. They have young guys on the offensive line. You've got Kelsey. Yeah, he's getting a little bit older, but he's still out there dominating people. Okay, you bought over Kadarius Toney in his second year. You got Sky Moore, who I thought was going to go off for his rookie season. He didn't do anything basically until the Super Bowl, like Durp said, his first touchdown catch. So they've got young talent all the way around. And then the defense, they got McDuffie. You still got big Chris Jones in there making his presence felt. You still got Frank Clark. You know what I'm saying? Again, guys are going to want to come play there. We already saw how the AFC West attracted damn near every free agent last summer. It's probably going to be like that again. And it's just this time it'll probably be more people going to Kansas City because they know that can nobody really stop them in that division.
And you got a young Patrick Mahomes who's only 27 years old.
Exactly. That's it.
The kid's still got a lifetime of football. So
they know every year they got a chance to win a Super Bowl, and it's 5 straight years AFC Championship in Kansas City. I mean, come on now, who wouldn't want to play there?
I don't know. It's like what Andy Reid said in the post game when they asked him about rumors of his retirement. He said, "As long as I got Patrick Mahomes as my quarterback, why would I retire?"
Yep.
Unfortunately,
why would I said I'm here for as long as I'm happy.
Yeah.
As long as I got Pat, right? It's like, well, as long as I got P. Mahomes, he's like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm here for the long run.
All right. Speaking of head coaches, we're going to turn our attention to the guys on the sidelines. The Cardinals, they've hired Jonathan Gannon as their new head coach, and the Colts will turn over their franchise to Shane Steichen. I believe that's pronunciation on his last name. Ironically enough, both of the guys spent last season with the NFC champion Philadelphia Eagles. Like it or not, Durp?
I don't like it for the reason that I'm a strong believer in the fact that I think that this whole coaching staff, Nick Sirianni, all of them, they're just being carried by a really good team. I think that he fell into the right situation. Jalen Hurts was already there. Sanders is already there. Then you go and get AJ Brown with, to pair with Devontae Smith. You got this, you brought in these free agents. I just think that they all benefited from that. Now, I'm not saying that they're not really good coaches, but if you take Nick Sirianni and put him on the Texans, he's not going to be talking shit the way he is now.
Yeah.
Even in the Super Bowl, he's waving his hands and shit. And Jalen Hurts, your 24-year-old quarterback, is like telling you to put your hands down. So I think that this coaching staff kind of got carried this year. So I don't really know too much about the coordinators. I guess that would be Mike's situation, but even when we brought it up to Mike, you can tell he's not even that upset about it. For me, I mean, besides Kellen Moore, if we had lost Dan Quinn, I would have been very upset. But Mike's just like, yeah, I heard he's gone, and I heard the other one's gone. For you to lose both of them in the same day, but it just seems like even the things that I see on social media and stuff, people are in the comments, and even some of them are Eagles fans, and they're saying like the Cards made a mistake. Or the Colts made a mistake. I've seen it both ways. I think that I said it before, that Cardinals coaching situation is going to be a disaster. If I was a candidate, I would have stayed completely away from it. I would have ran to the Texans beforehand, as crazy as it sounds, because you don't know when Kyler's coming back. And if I was to bet on it, I would say by the time he's ready to come back, it'll be week 10, 11 or something like that. Then y'all are going to have 2 or 3 wins on the season. So he's going to say, fuck it, I'm not coming back, just to get hurt again. Y'all are talking about getting rid of D-Hop. You got to play the 49ers twice a year, the Rams twice a year, the Seahawks twice a year. So I don't see that Cardinal situation being a good decision at all. And the Colts situation, just like I know, Brandon, they're gonna find a way to fuck it up. They're gonna hype it up, and then they're gonna find a way to fuck it up. They'll probably go and get Derek Carr, and they'll squander away that fourth pick, or they'll trade up with the Bears and fuck it up somehow. So I think that both of them are. I don't want to say bad decisions, but I don't see it working out. Let's put it like this: I think in the next 4 years, both of those teams will have a new head coach.
Agreed.
Great.
Kevin?
They said the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and hoping for a different result, right? So you're the Colts, right? So the Eagles win a Super Bowl, you hire their offensive coordinator, Frank Reich. Doesn't work out for you. So why would you go to the well again? The same well that did not produce for you before, why is it going to produce for you now? It makes no sense. I don't see. And I agree with Durp. I think they're riding off the heels of a very good team. Because why would the offensive coordinator want to leave? Because he wants to prove that he can do it without Mahomes. And I honestly think, in another 4 years, both teams are going to be looking for another head coach. But the only thing I can tell you about the Eagles defensive coordinator, with John DeGannon, I think the only thing that the Eagles are looking at is that their defense ended 13th overall. The Eagles defense ended 6th. So I think they're trying to bring him in to try to boost up that defense because they know they're not going to have I can't remember his name.
Kyler Murray.
Yeah, Kyler Murray for a long period of time. So they're going to try to bank on that defense to keep the offense, to hold it on while the offense gets its feet. But no, I don't agree with either one of them. I think they were reactionary hires. I don't think that they fully did their diligence.
Yeah, I think that, like we said before, I think we're in that part of the off season right now where coaches get snatched up real quick. Your D'Amico Ryans and your Sean Payton, and the teams are sitting around and they're like, "Oh shit, we got to get somebody. These guys just went to the Super Bowl. Let's get them."
Right.
They got to know what's going on, and I don't see it working out well. Like I said, if you can't tell.
Yeah.
And the Saints are hurt right now because with Peyton going to coming out of retirement, going to Broncos, he just took their offensive line coach with him to today. So
what is he going to be? OC over there?
I think he's going to be OC.
Okay.
So
got you.
Vic Fangio is still out here, right? I know he did that 2-week thing with the Eagles, but
no, he got hired in Miami, didn't he? I think.
Oh,
with Fangio?
If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Fangio.
I don't know, but I can look it up.
But yeah, while you're looking that up, I'm just gonna comment. I think the Cardinals, I've heard the same thing about that hire there for sure. But as for the Colts, like Durp said, it's like, the only difference, and Kevin as well alluded to it, the only difference between Shane Steichen and Frank Reich is really the age difference. Of course, they both came from Philly. The only thing that could help Shane going over there is if they draft a quarterback. And, according to Irsay, they're going to do whatever they can to get up to number one. Of course, what will y'all do with number one? Will y'all get a quarterback? I'm no college football fan, but is there a quarterback worth taking number one at that point? Okay. So, at that point, like Durp said, will they go to a Derek Carr? Will they go to a veteran quarterback for the 5th, 6th straight year in a row and see it fail? Everybody loved, especially the Matt Ryan thing. And I'm just sitting back laughing. I'm like, this is y'all gonna see this, not necessarily like you and I'm just talking like, especially those TV analysis on NFL Network and NFL Live. Oh, this is gonna be great. You got Jonathan Taylor coming off the leading the league in rushing. They got that offensive line out there. You got Pittman. T.Y. didn't come back, but you got young targets out there. And sure enough, it just went to shit. And I'm not even, talking about the fact that, and I felt the same way with Tennessee. It's like these veteran quarterbacks aren't doing it like that anymore, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so look at the Super Bowl this year. You had Patrick Mahomes, what 27, like Kevin said.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts, what third,
24.
fourth year in the league.
Yeah, I think he's
It's
24.
24th.
Yeah, Joe Burrow last year went to the Super Bowl. So
Mhm.
it's like, it's not, those veteran quarterbacks are hit or miss right now. And if you are lucky enough, you might get a good year out of them, maybe a couple years. So
Yeah.
yeah, I agree. Give them a couple years. I think they'll both be turning the page. I honestly thought pulling Jeff Saturday out of ESPN, I really, despite the record and some of those losses, I thought that they'd keep him, because I'm like, why would you? Yes, ESPN is just a job, but why would you pull a guy off TV to come there? I kind of thought it was just in the bag, like they was gonna do the Rooney Rule and say, okay, Jeff Saturday is our guy. But I mean, this hiring was kind of shocking for me. Kevin, what about that? You were looking up
Fangio?
about Fangio.
Yeah, he signed with the Dolphins. That's
Okay, I thought so.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, they said he was going to be a very well-paid defensive coordinator.
Oh,
It was a 3-year deal with a 4th-year option. That'll make him the highest-paid defensive coordinator in the NFL.
oh wow. I don't know if he's worth I mean, he was good as a defensive coordinator, but I mean, you got to remember, like Kevin said earlier, it's a what have you done for me lately league. Last I remember, he was in Denver and it didn't work out. So I don't know if I'd want him on my squad as defensive coordinator.
I thought for sure that Sean Payton was going to snatch him up, and they were going to do something. But I like Vic Fangio, but I damn sure not making him the highest paid defensive coordinator in the league. But I seen a thing earlier talking about these head coaches and stuff, that every head coach hired in this cycle spent at least a little bit of time with the Eagles at some point. Of course, Gannon and then Shane. Frank Wright was their offensive coordinator in 2016. DeMeco Ryans, of course, played for them.
Wow.
And Sean Payton was their quarterback coach back in '97.
Oh, wow.
So they have all had something to do with the Eagles at some point, which I thought was kind of wild.
Well, it used to be fly, Eagles fly. Now it's a Philly thing.
Yeah, they like I said, Eagles already had a plan. I know as far as their offensive coordinator, they already took their quarterbacks coach and made him the offensive coordinator. But I haven't heard anything about what they're going to do for the defensive coordinator position. So
I think
we'll see.
One thing about Fangio, real quick, before we turn the page, is him going to Denver. Yeah, I remember that was hot and heavy, when the Sean Payton rumors were going. But it was like, okay, this guy was fired by them. Yeah, it was the previous ownership group and everything, but it's kind of like a somebody, getting banned out of a store or restaurant. Like, they put the face up on the wall. It's like, don't hire him. That's what I felt like it was with him.
Right.
I think that's why I hate him.
In the article, he said that they asked him about that. He said he was never approached by Peyton or Denver.
Okay.
They never even approached him to interview. So
interesting. Well, we'll see what he does with that Miami Dolphins defense that's still fresh off of that Brian Flores regime a couple years ago, because I know they said the defensive coordinator that was let go was still part of Flores. So we'll see if Mike McDaniel and his new coordinator will get things going down there to match that high-flying offense down there in South Beach. All right, everyone, you're listening to the Purple Huddle podcast with Kevin and Durp. Speaking of Kevin, we got a new offensive coordinator in Baltimore. Tell us about the new guy. Thumbs up or thumbs down?
Oh, thumbs up, 100% thumbs up.
Okay.
I like Monken. I liked him in his days with Georgia, which is my father's alma mater. He was with the Bears in 2019, 2020. You can't fault him for that, because that was the Freddie Kitchens era. Nobody could do anything during that time.
They said that was Baker's best year, though. Sorry.
Yeah, it was Baker, and that's what I'm saying. It was Baker's best year. So I'm hoping he can come over and do something with Lamar. God knows we have him. And plus, he was also offensive coordinator in Tampa Bay. So I mean, he actually got a strong push from Georgia to take the Ravens job. I mean, they said that they didn't want to hold him back, that they felt that he was a NFL guy that just needed to retrace his steps. So we should be. I mean, it said that his search, it would span over 14 candidates. There's 21 interviews. He was brought in for four separate times. So I mean, they did do the Lamar was even
Had his
brought
input.
in, to have an opinion on it. So we'll see. I think this is going to be a great thing for Jackson because he does a lot of RPO when he was in Georgia. So I mean, we'll see if he can convert some of their if RPO over to the NFL. Plus, he also said that he's not going to change any type of running scheme. He's going to keep the run game so the same reason why Fix was not broken. But he said that you're going to see a whole new dynamic in that wide receiver room.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens. We'll definitely see what happens, but definitely a thumbs up for me.
Second straight year coordinator came to Baltimore from the college ranks. Durp?
I think it's a really good signing on y'all's point. I think it's, y'all brought in some fresh blood. Dude, obviously knows what he's doing. He won back-to-back championships with Georgia. I think the only thing that I've really seen about it that I thought was interesting is that I heard that when coordinators were coming in and interviewing for the job, y'all were basically like trying to shy away from if they say, "Hey, is Lamar going to be here? Or what's the Lamar situation?" Y'all are basically shying away from it. But the more I thought about it, it's like you don't know, so you don't want to guarantee like some crazy talent like Lamar is going to be there, and then all of a sudden, you turn around. So you don't want to lie to people and say like, yeah, he's going to be here, and then whatever could happen. At the end of the day, it's a business, like they say. But I think it's very good. They said that he brings a very not a very big pass heavy offense, but it's more pass oriented, and I think that'll help Lamar even more. Like we've alluded to before, the year he won MVP, 36 touchdowns, I think over 4,000 yards or close to it. So Lamar can definitely throw the ball. I think it'll all just come down to y'all really need to look in the mirror and realize that you need to surround Lamar with talent. He needs. He
definitely needs receivers.
Yeah, he needs more pass catchers. He needs, more moving of the pocket, things like that. So I think it's a very good signing on y'all's part.
And also to quote Lamar, he told the coaches, "Well, now that we got my OC hired, I need to go to Florida. I need to go to Florida, work out with my teammates, and we have a Super Bowl to win." So even though, and in my opinion, it's like, brother, you got a contract you got to sign first. Because they
verbal commitment.
We cannot afford a franchise tag you.
Long as he don't do the was it the Zadarius Smith commit, quote unquote verbally commit and then end up in the other purple team.
Yeah, like Randy Gregory did to us.
Well, it wouldn't matter.
Yeah, him too.
Yeah. But I mean, and tell him to stay away from jet skis too. Jumping over any more of that.
All right. America's team is Durp Squad. I think on our last show, you all had just hired your offensive coordinator, but have you heard anything else about Zeke, Schultz, and those guys out there in the Lone Star State?
I mean, we don't really have too much going on besides, we're creating a couple coaches, like, bringing up Schottenheimer. Of course, he's the son of legendary coach Marty Schottenheimer. Dude's only 49 years old, but he's been doing some form of coaching for 22 years. So he's got experience already. He was actually the offensive coordinator and the quarterbacks coach at Georgia back in 2015. So from what I'm hearing is basically every time I hear them talk about it, they keep saying that he's just one of Mike McCarthy's guys, which basically just means that he was already in the building. He's going to listen to what Mike McCarthy says, which he obviously should because McCarthy is the head coach at the end of the day. And I'm just hearing that they're going to work together. He's basically going to be like a glorified passing, coordinator and helping out with, moving the pocket, rolling Dak out and pre-motion snaps and things like that to help Dak out. And the best thing that I heard from this whole situation is that he's going to implement doing less curls and less comeback routes because all fucking year that's what Dak was doing, was getting to curl routes late and they were getting picked off. So yeah, I'm happy with the signing. I think it's good. We'll see how Mike McCarthy does with the play calling. I don't really like the fact that we came out and said Mike McCarthy's going to play the calls or call the plays, and it'll be some type of form of offense that he ran back in Green Bay. It's like we should just let teams figure that out. We shouldn't just come out there and say, it'll be this, because you're just saying, hey, go watch some film on this. You'll see a couple of things. But overall, I think it was a good signing. I think we did the right thing and handing the reins over to Mike McCarthy. Hopefully I don't bite my tongue later on. Now it's just on to the draft and figuring out a couple of these contract situations.
Kevin?
I mean, I haven't heard much, and if anybody would know more about it than me, the Durp. I mean, the only news I know is that I know that Emmitt Smith's father passed away this week.
Oh, damn.
Yeah,
Sorry to hear
thank you, condolences to him. But
Definitely.
my whole thing is I want to see exactly what we're going to do about Dak and getting him out of that rolling out situation. And no, we'll see. They say every year is their year. Well, I'm hoping this year is it.
That was unnecessary. I think the whole situation of getting Dak out of the pocket is what exactly what we need.
Well, that's what
it seemed like all last year he seemed timid to take off, and I know it's because of that injury. It was a gruesome injury, but hopefully that's what we're about to implement.
Well, I mean, hopefully what he can do is he can bring him in where he can get him into that weapon protection that shows him, look, even if you do take off, you got the monsters around you that you're not going to get hurt.
Yeah, and a lot of it comes down to the same thing I was saying for y'all. I mean, we need more receivers. That's why I'm hoping that we look at that kid Jalen Hyatt from Tennessee. Take the top off the defense. We got to figure out this Zeke contract situation. It's like either shit or get off the pot at this point. Sign him to a 1-year contract, have him as the backup to Tony Pollard, tag Tony Pollard, and restructure Dak's contract a little bit. We don't got to worry about Dalton Schultz. You can let him walk into free agency. He'll probably go to the Commanders.
Yeah. Well, McCarthy already said that on Pollard is going to be the focal point of your guys' run offense next year.
Well, yeah, I mean it doesn't.
It's already out.
Yeah, I mean we all know that, and with his injury, he would have probably got offered big money. Either way, we were going to tag him, but now it's it's a for sure thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, I wish you all the best because, dang it, we need Dallas back up in them ranks, man.
So, Durp mentioned the Commanders real quick. I don't know, Kevin, if you heard this or not, but I'm sure that y'all probably did. But I saw on NFL Network yesterday that Greg Roman interviewed for the offensive coordinator there in Washington.
Yeah.
I've never laughed so hard in the last couple.
Yeah, but
they interviewed him, man.
Eric Bieniemy's going there tomorrow.
Oh God.
Yep.
Damn.
And I think that if he ends up going there, I think it's the same situation as.
Where are you still there? I lost you for a second. You said the same situation as what?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think it's the same situation as the two Eagles coaches.
Oh yeah.
Basically like, I don't need Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. I can go here and do it. And it's like they were talking about on NFL Network about it, and I think maybe that's what he's thinking, or they're talking about new ownership, so he's thinking maybe if he goes there, he could basically be flown into the head coaching position. But I like Eric Bieniemy, but I think that he might be biting off more than he can chew because that team is solely they're a defensive first team, and then they come out and they run the ball. They're gritty. They have Terry, of course, and Curtis Samuel. They do have talent on the offense, but their O-line is garbage, and their quarterback situation is
garbage.
Right. Taylor
garbage.
Taylor Heineke is decent at best, and I think even he's a free agent because I think they brought him back to a 1-year contract. So they got shit that they got to figure out. As far as that goes, if I was Eric Bieniemy, I'd be saying the same shit that Andy Reid is saying. As long as I got Pat Mahomes, I'm staying my ass right here.
Yeah.
I mean, could even Andy. But here's the thing. Here's my question: if the Chiefs love Bieniemy so much, why are they letting him interview for all the OC positions?
That's what I was wondering too.
Why haven't they locked him down?
Something strange about that situation.
There's something of, and then Andy Reid coming out saying that Bieniemy needs to really go someplace where he's got full reins.
Yep.
He's got full reins and full control over the offense. That makes you question, how much has he really been calling, and how much is Reed?
I think they used to split, from what I
Right.
understand, like 50-50.
Right. I mean,
But,
and I do question why, what their reasoning is for not having him back if he's supposed to be so great for them.
See, I
If-
was. Go ahead, Brandon.
Go ahead.
I was talking to a guy at work today about that because he's a Commanders fan. He was talking about Eric Bieniemy and all that, and I told him that I even said something in the group chat before that Shady McCoy was on the Chiefs the year that they won the Super Bowl, and he does all this podcast and shit. And sometimes Shady can be a hater, I've noticed,
Yeah.
but he flat out said that sometimes a lot of players don't really like to play
Mhm.
for Eric Bieniemy.
Yep.
Because Shady McCoy, when he got to the Chiefs, he had been in the league, 10, 11 years or something like that. And
Yeah.
what he didn't really come out and say it, but what he alluded to, it kind of made it seem like, Eric Bieniemy might come out and say, okay, on this play, we're going to run the sweep like this. Shady McCoy, as a 10-year vet, could have said, say, hey, maybe we should do it like this. And I think that Eric Bieniemy doesn't like that. I think that he just wants you to go out there and run the plays how they're called, and nobody's going to want to play for that. Nobody's going to want to have to deal with that, especially, like I said, if you're a veteran. So there's more that is out there that we don't know, because every single year there's all these coaching vacancies. Eric Bieniemy's name is thrown around 100 times, and then the year starts and he's the offensive coordinator for the Chiefs.
Mhm.
So I don't know what the situation is with that, but there's more going on than we know.
It's got to be because I mean, and you say that you think he's one of these guys who wants them to go out and run the play the way it's called, but then you got Patrick Mahomes. How many times have we seen him turn a broken play into a touchdown? Now, do they give that credit to Mahomes, or do they give that credit to Bieniemy?
Well,
I think Mahomes, because he's a playmaker.
Yeah,
Exactly.
we even seen earlier this year. I can't remember what week it was, but the Chiefs were walking off the field at halftime, and Eric Bieniemy and Patrick Mahomes were arguing.
Yeah,
And Andy Reid came over and broke it up. So it's like, arguing with the quarterback and everything is cool, But at the end of the day, this is Pat Mahomes. Eric Bieniemy should know that if he leaves and somebody else comes in, Patrick Mahomes still gonna be Patrick Mahomes. Right. Now, we don't know that if you can go to Washington and coach whoever it may be, is your offense going to be this high powered? If I was a betting man, I would say no.
Oh, hell no.
So,
yeah. Two things about this, and I'm going to ask y'all a quick question. I think if Durp's, what you heard is right about Eric Bieniemy, about like his strictness or whatever, like, hey, you run the play, don't make no changes, I don't want no suggestions, stuff like that. That would be very interesting, because I also heard on the other side, I've heard players come out, if I'm not mistaken, and say that, for example, the ring around the rosy thing in what was that, against the Raiders in week 18, I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
They said plays like that, they're able to go to Andy Reid in practice or whatever and say, hey, let's draw it up like this, let's do this and this. So that would be interesting if it's different with Bieniemy, because it's almost like your one boss is saying do this, and then the second up boss, or the big boss saying it different.
That's like when your mom says no, but your dad
says dad. There you go. Good analogy.
Yeah.
And then another thing, I think Kevin might be low key just trying to get his guy. Who's the quarterback coach? His old Bears coach. Damn.
Don't Matt
Nagy.
Nagy.
Matt Nagy. You trying to get him to be OC? Is that true?
Nagy.
Because I did hear where you said. What you say, Durp?
I said that'd fuck the whole league up. They go make the playoffs again, and they'd be some poor team would be like, yeah, we'll take them.
Yeah.
I did hear that where Andy obviously said he wanted Eric to go somewhere where he get like full reins or full be able to do his own thing, basically. So I do believe that if they promoted from within, it probably would be Matt Nagy, because he was in Patrick Mahomes' ear before he went to Chicago or the rookie year, whatever. And now he's back. So he does have some familiarity with Patrick Mahomes.
I mean, Matt Nagy was never a bad offensive coordinator. Matt Nagy was a horrible head coach.
Absolutely.
He was when he was with them, he was a good offensive coordinator. And then he got to the dumpster fire that my Chicago Bears, and
some guys just should stay offensive coordinators.
Absolutely.
Some guys should just stay coordinators. You're just better at being a coordinator. You should just realize that. And
I mean,
Very
look,
true.
look what Marvin Lewis, great defensive coordinator,
Yep.
great defensive coordinator, absolutely did
Yeah,
crap.
couldn't win in the playoffs. Yep.
Could not win in the
As a
playoffs.
coach, yep.
As a coach, yep.
But yeah, my question to y'all is, okay, Kevin, you're gonna play Eric DaCosta.
Okay.
Durp, you'll be Stephen Jones, and I'll give y'all a moment to think about it because I already have a guy in my head.
Jones.
Who would you want to, if you could be GM for a day and release, trade, or tell them thank you for your services, but we don't want you back anymore? Who on your team you would do that? My guy, while you're thinking about it, because I already know Durp has an answer. It looks like Kevin does too. My guy is James Prochet. This guy didn't do a damn thing all year. I mean, he looked like the new Marquise Hollywood Brown out there, where everything came in his direction. If it was straight on his numbers, he was going to drop it. But if it was out to where he had to catch it with Hollywood, I'm talking about real quick, Hollywood would catch it. James, on the other hand, didn't catch damn near anything. Now, granted, he wasn't out there on every offensive play. I understand he was the fourth, fifth receiver pretty much. But still, when we give you the opportunities to do something, you didn't take advantage of those. Last year would have been Alejandro Villanueva. I wanted his ass to go back to the military so bad. Just get out.
Yeah, last year would have been Alejandro Villanueva.
But looks like, Kevin, you ready? You got your answer? Or you want to go to Durp first?
Yeah, no, I got mine.
Okay.
I got mine, and it's not a popular one. But it's one that it would just be Kenyon Drake.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not Drake. Sorry, wrong one. Damn it. Where was
What position?
Running back?
Yep.
Mike
J.K.
Davis?
Dobbins?
Mike Davis. Mike Davis.
Oh,
Mike
he just
Davis.
wasn't given an opportunity. But go ahead and explain yourself.
No, because I mean, you say he wasn't given an opportunity, but he was. I mean, he was the lead back when Dobbins and Justice Hill when
they weren't able to play.
When they were able to play, he did nothing. He barely reached 5 yards of carry. He barely reached 3 yards of carry.
And I think he's on a 3-year deal, right?
Right.
Not mistaken.
Now, granted, we didn't have a full offensive line either. But yeah, I would just say, because with having Dobbins, Kenyon Drake, Gus Edwards, and trying to keep Justice Hill, and Justice Hill is a vital part of our special teams, I would just tell him, thank you for your services, but you're no longer needed.
I think I know Durp's answer, but go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's Zeke. There's threw
me off.
I mean, who did you think it was going to be? Dalton Schultz?
Was it Calvin Joseph? Is that the one you said in the text yesterday?
Oh, Kelvin Joseph? Well, I mean, the only reason it wouldn't be Kelvin Joseph is because he is a young player. I think this is only his second or third year, but okay. he kept true to the Cowboy tradition. He got trouble with guns and shit, fucking around with the wrong people. But he's actually decent on the on return or on special teams. So as long as he's not playing corner, I'm fine with it. But for me, it's got to be Zeke, just because he's getting paid Christian McCaffrey money right now, and he's not Christian McCaffrey. You know what I'm saying? He's out here. He's basically a glorified fullback at this point. You put him in there for 2-yard dives up the middle, and then you put him in there to pass block. You're paying him like $15-16 million a year. So I think, as far as if I was Stephen Jones, I would have to call him in and say, look, man, I don't know but the only thing is with such a big contract, I don't know what that dead money and that cap hit would look like. So I think with Zeke, we'll probably have to we'll probably just have to restructure it and bring it down to like, a 1-year base salary type situation.
Okay, we're gonna do one more. We're gonna turn the page. You're still Eric DaCosta, Stephen Jones. You have unlimited cap money. You have the ability to take anybody off of any team that's active right now. Who would you bring to your organization? With me, it's any reliable wide receiver, whether that's DeAndre Hopkins, because I know they're talking about him. I know Mac Thomas has been through injuries. Again, I'm just going for example with guys that are supposedly going to be on the move this year. Big name receiver, Jamar Chase. I take somebody like him. Any of those 3 receivers there in Cincinnati. So if y'all ready to go, one of y'all go ahead.
Yeah, Durp can go first. I'm not quite sure.
Go ahead, Durp.
See, that's a tough one. So you're saying just anyone?
Anybody. You ain't got to be like
their contract has to be up.
Yeah.
Or can we just
anybody to feel like your main hole, and you could say, okay, we got the cap. Cap just appears out of nowhere. Your money is good. You ain't even got to worry about how much you're paying them. Just somebody that'll help get your team over the next step.
See, this is tough.
Yeah.
I mean, I was saying, receiver, we could really use receiver. I would love to get a Justin Jefferson or a Tyreek
Oh
Hill,
yeah.
somebody like that, somebody to take the top off. But for real, I don't know. I think I might fuck around and go get Myles Garrett, put him on the other side of Michael Parsons.
Man.
Because I don't know nobody's getting away from that pass rush.
Yes.
I don't know nobody's getting away from that pass rush right there.
For sure. I would go defensive guy too, actually, because I've been calling for a pass rush for about since Sizzle was probably in his rookie season. What's that? Almost 10 years ago now. I think he came in the league 2003. Kevin, you need more time?
No, I already know my guy.
Go ahead.
McCole Hardman.
From
the Chiefs.
Okay.
If you put that 24-year-old on one side, you got Bateman on the other. I don't see where you got anybody that can stop that wide receiver for.
Oh God. I beg to differ.
What do you mean you beg
to differ? You know we mean
somebody
better like anyone, right? Like anyone in the league.
Yes.
Wait a minute. Are you saying like free agents or anyone?
No, anybody. Anybody.
Oh shit.
Anybody that can
shit. I
help.
thought you meant
I used D-Hop and Mike Thomas as examples while y'all was thinking. You can get anybody. You can get anybody in the league.
Just grabbing D-Hop.
I'm grabbing D-Hop then. Yeah, shit.
That's not a bad choice.
I thought you meant somebody coming up on their contract.
No, anybody.
No, D-Hop. Yeah, I'm definitely taking D-Hop.
Yeah, that's better than Hardman. No disrespect to Hardman.
Yeah.
No, Hardman. Well, I was looking at all the wide receivers that are for unrestricted free agents, and unfortunately, he's the best of them. This.
Yeah, I would say if it wasn't Garrett for me, I think I might grab Fred Warner because we need an off the ball linebacker.
Like Chris Jones and a Frank Clark as well. I know I've been talking about my pass rush. Get some that. I mean, I just after the year when they had Frank Clark playing on what they had to play on the outside, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry, Chris Jones playing on the outside. They moved him back to the inside, and he just started dominating again. I just gained a new level of respect for that guy. So I would definitely take him. And we need pass rushers bad.
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, my brain going crazy because I'm like, what do we need? What do we need?
Yeah.
Well, Jadeveon Clowney's out there, Brand.
He a little up in age.
Yeah. And everywhere he goes, he causes a problem.
I have the list of they said the 10 best free agent pass rushers that are available this year.
Okay, give me the top 5.
Davenport. Okay, number 1 is Davenport from the Saints.
New Orleans, yeah.
Yep, you got Yannick Ngakoue from the Colts.
Oh, he ain't coming back.
Would he ever come back here?
Tried that?
Yep. Justin Houston from the Ravens. That's number 3. Number 4 is Clowney from the Browns. Brandon Graham from the Eagles. Melvin Ingram from the Dolphins. Robert Quinn from the Eagles. Number 8 is Charles. I don't even know how to pronounce his last name. Omenihu from 49ers. Number 9 is Arden Key from the Jaguars. And number 10 is Dwayne Smoot from the Jaguars. They said they're your top 10 free agent pass.
So I would say if you don't get Marcus Davenport or I don't know. I don't know. That's a bad list. That's tough.
That's your top 10.
Don't worry, Durp. We always take the bottom tier of the pass rushers.
You know what's going to happen? They're going to bring back Houston. Because
Houston's okay. I'll take him because he gets back-to-back sacks. Now, after he get his back-to-back, you don't hear much from him until about 3 weeks later. But he'll get back-to-back sacks in a game often. And I do appreciate that because we haven't had that again in a while.
And Durp, what did you think? Would you say you guys need your Cowboys?
We need LVE is probably leaving Leighton Vander Esch, so we would need a off the ball linebacker.
Linebacker?
Yeah.
All right, here's your top 10 linebackers for 2023. You got David Long from the Tennessee Titans, Levante David from the Bucks, Tremont Edmonds from the Bills, TJ Edwards from the Eagles, Drew Tranquil from the Chargers, Bobby Urich, Okereke from the Colts, Leighton Vander Esch from the Cowboys, your boy, Alex Singleton from the Broncos, he's number 8. Caden Ellis from the Saints, and Jermaine Pratt from the Bengals. They're your top 10 linebackers.
Yeah, I mean, it's the theme here just seems to be a bunch of old guys. That's I would take Alex Singleton. He's been pretty decent. Of course, I would want us to bring LVE back after he got that last neck injury. He's come back and he's played pretty well. I'm just saying if he leaves, if he stays, then we're good on that. We got a couple rookies too.
I don't see where Vander Esch is going anywhere unless they don't sign him.
Yeah, the Steelers wanted him real bad the year he came out, and then when he was a free agent before we signed him, there was rumors that the Steelers still wanted him. So let's just hope that don't happen.
What's crazy is that after last offseason, you could pretty much expect the unexpected. So, like Durp said, it's a bunch of old guys. Some very good research by Kevin, but like nowadays, you don't know who the hell gonna end up where.
Well, you never know who's gonna be cut, who's gonna be cap casualty, who's gonna be, you're gonna have your veteran cap casualties.
They're already saying the Chargers are probably gonna cut Keenan Allen, which I can't believe. But
Wow.
they're saying he might be a cap casualty, like he's like one of the main candidates. So I would
Allen now.
Like what? He can't
33,
be
I want to
30.
say.
Yeah, I was gonna say 32, 33. Can't be too much older than that. He's still getting it done. He just had that he had that injury, hamstring injury last year. He can't come back too early.
That's me him questioning maybe him for the Ravens.
I would love to see him in Baltimore. I've always been a fan of his.
Yeah.
Oh, so have I. That's why I said I'm surprised.
Love to see him in Baltimore. But again, the common sense moves that we're supposed to make, we rarely make them, even under Ozzie Newsome, in my opinion. I love me some Ozzie Newsome. I respect
quarterback for crap though.
EDC, but it's like, like I said earlier, we'll end up with the bottom tier of the defensive pass rushers for sure. It never fails.
Well, yeah, but right now we can't afford to sign a free agent right now.
True. What was you saying, Dirk?
I said, at least y'all got Roquan Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be happy with that.
I guess I gotta take a little take what we can get right.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this, Brand, because they were talking about should they resign
Patrick Queen?
Yeah. Because of the way he played next to the way he seemed like he had a resurgence in his career playing next to Roquan.
He came on strong when Roquan got there, but I just can't get over the fact that old boy can't cover tight end. Not that we've had linebackers.
We don't have anybody that can cover a tight end.
Yeah, we haven't had that. Even when Ray Lewis was playing, I was like, oh God, please don't throw.
We could never cover tight ends.
The only luck we got is he gonna truck their asses.
Yeah.
The only person
The
only person that could cover tight ends we ever had was Jamie Sharper.
Yeah, Jamie.
That dude was a beast up the middle when it came to tight
end. I know, Darren. That was Durp. That was back in. I'm looking at your name. Sorry. That was back in 2001.
Yeah.
2001.
Damn.
Super Bowl year.
Name drop.
Ever since then, we haven't had nobody that could cover tight ends.
Speaking of that, I hope y'all watched the 30 for 30.
Oh, I did.
Bullies of Baltimore, I think it was called.
Yeah,
I did.
I watched a good part of it. The part I had me dying was when Goose was talking about when he was about to shit himself, but y'all came out in all white. Y'all came out in all white uniforms.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, I love what he told. I love what he said about following Gannon. The Gannon cried about.
Oh yeah.
Falling on him. He's like, my wife's 5'2" and she's got my whole body weight on her at least once a week, and she never complains.
Goose was something else, man.
Yeah, then the part with the head coach where he was like, we're going to be respectful of the Titans. We're going to be respectful. And then he told him to put the cameras down. He was like, man, fuck the Titans.
It's crazy to think I had no idea that we were the first
team to ever beat them.
Had no idea. Yeah, that too. But the Hard Knocks.
Yep.
I had no idea that was the case.
Yep,
I remember watching Hard Knocks. I didn't see it till probably a couple years later on NFL Network or something, but I didn't know we were the first ones. So that's pretty cool.
That 2000 defense, that's when fired the Hard Knocks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the personalities on that team.
Yeah, he's like,
for sure.
What Phillips said, he's like, I can handle conceit. I can handle
Mm.
arrogance, but self-pity that really chaps
That's
my ass.
Good memories, man.
Yeah.
All right, everyone, that's going to do it for this Super Bowl recap episode of the Purple Huddle podcast. Thanks for listening. We'll be with you again soon.